Have the Chiefs got better in free agency? We're going to talk about it. Woohoo! Good morning, Chiefs Kingdom. It's Friday, March the 14th. Free agency's been underway for 2 days now, even though it was done before it started. And the Chiefs pulled the biggest move yet just now, baby. They've signed Bailey Zappi.
Steve, Bailey Zappi's coming to the kingdom. Tom Pelissero said Chiefs are re-signing Bailey Zappi to a one-year deal. He now joins Patrick Mahomes and Gardner frickin' Minshew in the quarterback room. Steve, looks like they could have found maybe a better picture to use of Bailey Zappi. I don't know.
I don't know, baby.
Somebody could have superimposed him into a Chiefs uniform.
Mike, you know what that quarterback room does? You know what they do, baby.
It F's. That's what it does. This quarterback room's going to a new level.
That's
Steve,
wild.
It's going to a new level.
No, but appreciate you guys being here this morning. Do your boys a favor. Hit the like button. It just takes a second. It'll help get this out to more people. Mike, let's talk about the Chiefs free agency as a whole up to now.
Yeah.
Have they got better or have they not? A lot of people are indifferent about this free agency period, who they've signed. They don't think they've done that great. Some people think they've done awesome. They've hit a home run. Where do you sit?
It's wild. For one, I think it was surprising when they tagged Trey Smith, I think. But I don't hate it. Don't hate it. Very surprising when they traded Joe Tooney in a way. Even though you should have seen it a little bit when they tagged Trey Smith. I get it. Still kind of surprising. I think a lot of people didn't like the Joe Tooney move. It is what it is. When you actually get to real signings, I did like the tackle move better than the other tackles. He was a little bit better there. The running back, Mitchell, I could have taken it or leaving it, but I mean, he's fine. He's got some juice when he's healthy. That's a big if. And then Christian Fulton I really liked. So I would say to this point, and I'm not going to count Minshew and all this, that's all clutter. All the little bitty signings and the noise, who cares? I think for the three big ones that they went out and grabbed, I'd give it like a solid B+. I'd give it a solid B+. I think Christian Fulton's carrying for now, and the tackle remains to be seen what he can do. It sucks that we're still kind of experimenting with Patrick Mahomes' blindside. We're still experimenting, but we said we was going to have to experiment.
You knew that was coming.
Right.
So getting better isn't all about just who you signed, but we also lost some guys, and some that I would have liked to have kept around, but it just was impossible. Talking about Turk Wharton, Justin Reed. We lost a few guys there, Mike, but we also lost guys like Justin Watson, who I feel like it kind of helps the team because we're finally moving past, the normal mid receivers that we sign over and over again. If we could skate by free agency in the offseason without a McCole Hardman signing, I'll count that as a dub, baby. That as a dub.
Yeah, but we also need to look. They re-signed Hollywood Brown. That was big.
Yeah, that's huge.
They got a contract knowing Nick Bolton. That's also pretty good. I get it that they're not the big flashy. They were on a different team, kind of free agency guys.
Those are great.
But those are big time moves. Here's what they did on the first day. Let's just go through it day by day, Steve. Here, I'll bring it in for everybody. I'm going to take a look at our boy Charles. I forget his last name. Charles Goldman. I'll get it right one of these.
I knew you were going to screw it up.
Do you think I'm doing it on purpose? And this is just a long-lasting bit?
Yes, I think so.
Can you see the screen?
Yep. What we got here?
Trey Smith, franchise tagged on. This is moves before 310. So this is before free agency. Trey Smith franchised. Blake Lynch, linebacker, re-signed. That was like a top-tier move. Joe Tooney traded to the Bears. Okay, Matt Araiza was tendered. Mike Caliendo was tendered. Hollywood was re-signed. Nick Bolton was re-signed. Okay, awesome. Trey Smith signed the franchise tag. Cool. Okay, 310. Day one of legal tampering, tracking for every Chiefs roster move. Let's go. They signed Jalen Moore, 2 years, $30 million. I thought that was a decent signing, and I thought it was a really good signing in comparison to other guys like Dan Moore or anybody like that, right?
Well, once again, just to put a bow on that whole situation, you're not getting a good left tackle this offseason. Maybe they could have traded for Laramie Tunsil. I know a lot of people talked about that. I highly doubt that the Texans wanted to deal with the Chiefs on that. So I just think it was out of the realm of possibility to get anybody better than an upside guy like Jalen Moore. But I think they still need to go sign DJ Humphries for a year or something. But I don't know. We'll see if they do that.
I would be down with bringing in DJ Humphries still. I do think Jalen Moore gives us a lot of upside. And I like the way he had some really good games with San Francisco. I went back and watched more of his tape. He actually has, some decent intangibles to work with. And working with the offensive line for the 49ers and working within that offense, a Shanahan offense, and working behind Trent Williams, he had to have picked up something from those guys. And right. I think that goes a long way. So we also signed Elijah Mitchell as our San Francisco 49er tour has begun. A one-year deal for $3.5 million. This one's okay. I mean, he's got a lot of speed. It's going to be fun to pair with Pacheco, like he says here in the article. The key is to stay healthy, and that's 100% right. If he can stay healthy, Steve, he offers something. If he can't stay healthy, he's not really going to be on the field. So, this is a big swing, and either you knock it out of the park or he just kind of fades into oblivion. So we won't know what happens here. I'm going to bet on him being able to at least stay healthy through camp and preseason, so we'll get a flash of what he could possibly do. We lost Samaje Perine back to the Bengals. Fine. I think that the Chiefs kind of chose to go with Elijah Mitchell over Samaje Perine because, look, the contracts are the same. He got a 1 year for 3.5. Samaje took a 2 year for 3.8. So they chose to pay a lot more for Mitchell for a 1 year than Samaje signed with the Bengals for 2. Does that surprise you a little bit?
Yeah, actually, but
it does a little bit, right?
Elijah Mitchell, he's kind of a low risk, high reward type guy. Like he could be really good if he's healthy, and he could fit in this offense really well. But it's not like they broke the bank for him or anything. Samaje Perine, though, it kind of does surprise me because I thought Perine could have been that third down back for the Chiefs. They never really used him as that, except for, they did a couple games and he looked pretty good. And then he was just gone again. So, I mean, if they were never going to use Perine more than they were, he might as well gone back to Cincinnati, right? So it's kind of like these receivers, Mike. You said out of your own mouth, like people like D-Hop and stuff, do they really even want to come back if they're not even getting utilized in the offense? They're literally just decoys over here. They're barely on the field. I don't know. I'm sure Perine feels the same way.
Right. Well, we're going to talk about D-Hop a little bit more in a minute. The Chiefs lose Justin Watson to the Texans. Steve, I know that that would hurt your heart a little bit, right?
No, this is what I was saying. And this is no shade. I've always said no shade to Justin Watson because I feel like he's a good guy and he's a decent football player, but he's very mid. I've always said he's mid. And I feel like this is huge for the Chiefs. It's kind of, what's the word I'm looking for here? I don't know. But either way, it's great that he can just move on. It's good for the Chiefs. It's time to turn the page a little bit, get away from these freaking mid receivers that they signed for 1 year and 2 years all the freaking time and continue to just have the same stale offense. Like, he's one of the guys that needed to go ahead and move on. He was never going to move the needle for you. It was just like they were, I don't know. It's crazy to me. It's filler. It's just filler. And then McCole Hardman's the same way. Like I said, if we could skate through the offseason without a McCole Hardman re-signing, that'll be freaking great. Because it's just time to, get a facelift on the offense here. We've noticed how it's been a little drab for the last couple of years.
Right.
So let's get some of these pieces that are just nothing, like even Sky Moore. If he's not going to play and contribute, or if he can't play and contribute, then get rid of him. Move on. Let's go. And I think McCole Hardman and Justin Watson kind of already proved they can't do that, really. So it's like, let's just move on. Let's get something different.
Okay, now that you got that off your chest. The Chiefs also lost defensive tackle Tershawn Wharton, Steve. He's going to sign with the Panthers.
Tough.
He got paid 3 years, $54 million, and we knew that was coming, man. We were like, look, Turk is playing himself into a big contract.
Yeah.
Cool for him, but bad for the Chiefs. And we lost Turk. And, I mean, that one kind of sucks a little bit.
Yeah. Turk was a...
There's
just not a whole lot to... There's not a whole lot to say about it. I mean, that's a guy you would love to see them re-sign, but
Well, what about the Chiefs right now, the state of their defensive line? They've not been able to go get anybody on the defensive line. They've looked like they've shown no interest.
right, and
But that's a big thing.
like you said, Turk earned his money, and he also caught fire in free agency. He was one of the top 5 guys out there, according to some of the insiders. Was that everybody was looking at Turk Wharton? I mean, a guy that was playing like that, defensive tackle, they're going to want their team's going to want that guy, right? So, I mean, he got paid, and there's not really much the Chiefs could do about it. Couldn't afford to pay him that much money. They just couldn't do
Right.
it.
Yeah. Turk on the list right now is one of the ones that kind of suck there. What you got?
Got a 20 bomb from Slow But Sure, baby. He says, how's it going, Chiefs Kingdom? Hey, guys, I got that thermos you guys sent out. Thanks so much. It's a super nice thermos. Mike, did you thermos him up?
Yeah, I hit him with the I got him a tumbler. I hit him up with one. I hit up a few people that have donated a lot and have supported a lot recently. I sent them out a few nice gifts the other day. So,
Mike, did you? I was thinking you sent them like a thermos with some soup in it or something. You know, like you remember the ones we used to have for
I would have
school?
done that.
Like in elementary school, they were like just big, like I don't
Yeah,
know,
you
and they had
screw
the
the
little
top
cup
on.
on top. Yeah, and you could use the top for a bowl, sort of.
Yeah, man.
Or a little cup.
I mean, I guess
if
they
you
still
do.
make those. Do they? Do kids eat soup these days?
No. Kids don't
Kids
eat
ain't
anything
nothing
but chicken
but-
nuggets, bro.
Kids ain't nothing but chicken nuggets and I don't
That's
even
it.
know ketchup.
Candy.
Patrick Mahomes, the influence of Mahomes.
Appreciate the 20, Slow But Sure. Let's freaking go, baby. Shout out Lance in the chat earlier, by the way. You all go subscribe to The Spoken if you haven't done that already. Hope you're doing well, Lance. But yeah, Mike, where were we at? So we were sad about Turk Wharton. Let's get back to it. They re-signed Cole Christensen. This is another guy that just
Cole
is
Christensen, yeah.
a special teamer, right? I mean,
Yeah.
that's just all there is to it. And then, of course, James Winchester. You had to get that guy back. He's the
Right.
heart of
So-
the entire team.
Yeah, so Dave Tobe got his hand in the cookie jar there for just a few minutes. Day 2 of the legal tampering, we signed Christian Fulton. That was awesome. That was a good move by by Brett Veach to sign Christian Fulton. Steve, do you like the Christian Fulton move? What do you
It was a
rate
good move by Christian Fulton, too, coming to the Chiefs.
Yeah, that's true as well.
I think he'll fit good in the Spags defense. I think Dave Merritt can help the kid out. I mean, he's kind of a guy that makes sense for Brett Veach. Normally, Brett goes for the guys that just never hit their peak, and then he'll try to get them in here to make them better. But Christian Fulton's above that. Christian Fulton is good. But he was a second rounder. I don't know if he's ever lived up to the billing of a second rounder, but he's been pretty close. And I think this is like kind of the typical Brett Veach signing, but a little bit better. Do you know what I'm
I think
saying?
Christian Fulton gives us a lot of versatility within the corner room because Jalen Watson's not going anywhere. Presumably Josh Williams is not going anywhere unless they were to be traded. Either one of those guys, if they popped up in the next few weeks and they said traded for a pick or something, would not surprise me. I think Josh Williams way more would be that guy rather than Jalen Watson because I really do like Jalen Watson, what he offers. But Christian Fulton, Jalen Watson, pretty similar. I don't know if Christian Fulton's as physical as Jalen Watson, but
Now, is the Christian Watson signing them being like, man, Jalen Watson might not be it?
you said Christian Watson, and that is
Christian
awesome.
Fulton. Sorry.
I wish we would have. No, I actually don't wish we'd have signed the injury-prone wide receiver. But
Anyway, go ahead. You know what I meant.
yeah, I don't know. I don't think so. I think they just want more bodies in the room, and they want some bigger things. And this is also going to allow now Watson and Fulton to both be on the corner, and you can like slide McDuffie into a slot. But this is my thing.
What are those
You
slots
don't-
doing on the corner anyway, bro?
You do not want your highest pay. Like, we're getting ready to pay McDuffie out the butt, dude. Like, more like that's the presumable assumption here is that we're getting ready to pay a monster contract to McDuffie. Is he worth resetting the market if he's literally just not an outside guy? Like, if he's just a guy that's going to play in the nickel a little bit here and there or whatever. Like, do you pay a guy that, like, I get that he can do both, but I feel like a lot of Chiefs Kingdom was like, man, we need to get him back to the nickel position. We need to get him back down there covering the slot.
You're not going to pay him that much to be a nickel.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if he's going to be paid like a number one, you cannot just be a nickel corner.
McDuffie is that guy though. I mean, a lot of people get down on him. We get okay, Wayne. I don't know if he loves McDuffie that much, to be honest. But there's some people that don't like what he has to offer as far as size. They think he's too small and they can't cover the bigger receivers.
He
and
does have some trouble with that.
There's something to that, but I don't think it's at a detriment. I mean, if you look at McDuffie's season long, man, just consistently, he's in everybody's hip pocket. He's literally a top 3 to 5 corner in football. I don't know. I think he bucks the trend. I think they do try to extend him and keep him around a little bit longer. And the reason I say that is they invested in him. They traded up in the first round of the draft for him. If that doesn't tell you they want him, I don't know what does. So that's a little bit different than getting a guy in the 5th through 7th round and hitting on him like L'Jarius Sneed or somebody, you know, whoever it might be. It's a little bit different, don't you think?
Yeah, I can see it. But I guess the point I'm trying to make is that McDuffie can now move back into a natural nickel, cover the slot kind of thing. And now you got 2 big physical corners that you can play on the edges. Right. So let's move on. Justin Reed to the Saints, 3-year, $31.5. I thought that was a good move for the Saints. I thought Justin Reed, I didn't think that was an overwhelmingly like crazy contract. So the Chiefs obviously just decided to go a new way. And a lot of that has to do with Jaden Hicks. And I totally understand that. But yeah, I guess they couldn't pay him.
They didn't have the money to allocate to the
you
safety
just couldn't
position.
do it.
They don't. They just don't. That wasn't like a top priority. So Justin Reed just kind of felt the effects of that. I mean, Justin Reed, love the guy. I thought he was killer in the last end of the season, like the last half of the season this year. Like, huge. And it sucks not having that experience back there in the defensive backs, but it was time to move on, man. That's all there was to it. So, I mean, he got a decent deal with the Saints, so good luck to him going forward. Then the Chiefs re-sign Robert Tonyan to the practice squad quietly. Quietly they signed him. Hell, I didn't even know they did it again. But yeah, Robert Tonyan, he was a guy that had one good season, and I remember all the Green Bay fans talking about how Robert Tonyan was the best tight end in the league. He was better than Travis Kelce, and they would argue with us online. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember that.
But he's a practice squad guy.
So what you're saying is Brett Veach threw on his his Catholic schoolgirl outfit.
What? Why?
And he did it again with Robert Tonyan.
I think Brett Veach is a troll. You know, I think he just remembers that. He's like, remember when everybody said Robert Tonyan was better than Travis Kelce? Sign that boy to the practice squad.
He did it again today, Steve. He threw back on that Catholic outfit to go grab Bailey Zappi today. Okay, so this is a big one. Chiefs, DeAndre Hopkins chooses to go to the Ravens.
Hey,
Steve, a lot of people hated that.
Before we talk about it, let's get to the chat real quick. Real quick.
You can just cut me off like this.
I'm cutting you off. Buck and Bob with the 5 bomb says, I'm going to miss Turk. We're all going to miss Turk.
Yeah.
That one sucks. Also got a concussion yesterday and have a new understanding of what players go through. This sucks. What are you doing out there, man? How'd you get a concussion? That sucks, though, man. Hopefully that gets better soon. I haven't had it. I mean, I'm pretty sure I had a concussion when I was younger. I hit my head a lot.
I think all kids get multiple concussions.
I think I did in my teen years, probably.
Don't doubt it.
I'm pretty sure I did. I just never even got diagnosed, you know. It was like, just keep going. And the 90s was a different time, you know. You just keep going. Rub some dirt on it. Shane, our boy with the gifted membership. Appreciate you, Shane. If you got that, make sure to thank him in the chat. Y'all put some legendaries in the chat for Shane. He's the man. Chief DeLorean with the 2 bomb says, should we re-sign Kareem Hunt? Absolutely, 100%. And we're going to talk about that more in a minute, too. So we're not going to ignore you, Chief DeLorean. We're going to get to that one. And then Flapjack with the 2 bomb says that D-line is limp, homies. We needs to get stout. He said we need to get a blue chew on the D-line, Mike. But if you put a blue chew on the D-line, that means Chris Jones could poke an eye out. You better watch
we come
out,
up with a great
Flapjack.
T-shirt last night in the members only that I done where we watched some film. You remember how the Minshew F's T-shirt was there?
Oh, Lord.
We're not doing that, but we're going to take it to a new level of ACU. We're going to call it the Blue Shoe.
The blue shoe.
Blue Shoe for Gardner. Come on. I thought you'd react better to that one. It was hilarious.
Mike, it took
What's
a
up,
minute.
Brad? I
It's
see you out
early.
there.
It's early. And then we got Shane with the 5 bomb. Says, been saying for years Jones needs help on the interior line. Really sad we got rid of Wharton. Who do we even have at defensive tackle now? That naughty guy?
No, Noddy's not even signed yet, but I feel like he might end up here on a 1 year if we're not careful.
Yeah. That's a thing.
I feel like defensive line has proven that that's going to be a
Mike,
big-time draft.
We're going to dig into that too,
position.
Shane. So that's also going to be a talking point here in a minute. We're going to have to talk about that a little bit. Appreciate the 5-bomb, my man. And then our boy, freaking Peter Ortiz, baby, with a 25. Let's go, Peter. Always with the entrance. He's like a wrestler. Like everything gets quiet and then the music starts and the lights, and Peter's like, "Here you go. Here's 25."
It's like the
Says,
Stone
Mike,
Cold
thanks for the
glass
clips
break.
of the running backs yesterday. You broke the plays nicely. Also, thanks for the merch and signed hat. Appreciate you, Peter. So that's the least we could do. And Mike, you apparently did a good job yesterday before YouTube shut you down.
Yeah. For one, Peter, hope you enjoyed the hat. If you guys remember, Peter was like, "Hey, I want that Kentucky hat." I sent it to him. I told him I would. I'm a man of my word. Also, man of my word, I said I wanted to watch some film with you guys, so I come on here and broke down some running backs last night. YouTube, like the dill hole people they are, shut it down midstream because they said it was a copyright infringement. I wrote them immediately, and I was like, that is not a copyright infringement. That's fair use, baby. I'm talking over the top of a clip. They reinstated it. They said, yes, you're right. I'm sorry. We're stupid. And then today, they demonetized it. So it's a problem with us, Steve. I talked about this so much last night. It's a problem with us and our channel. They don't like us. They don't want us to succeed. YouTube hates us because we don't give them enough ad revenue, apparently, like others. And then number two, they're just going to keep messing with it because it's the same bots over and over that they will not fix. So...
Oh, yeah.
We're just in an infinite hole of suck.
Oh, yeah. Well, appreciate the 25, Peter. And then we got horned up with the 5-bomb. Says, let's freaking go, boys. Will the improvement of the cornerback room help the D-line affect the pass rush? And I think that's potential. I always like it the other way around. I think pass rush is the premium, and that helps the corners. You know, but I mean, there are such things as coverage sacks. I just don't know if the Chiefs, every once in a while, will get one of those. And we got a guy that's good at getting a coverage sack, George Karlaftis, because he never freaking stops. He's got a motor, you know. And then we got the KC Lions squad 2-bomb. It says Uche to the Eagles, and they used 4 avoid years. Imagine that. Imagine that.
Yeah, so he's probably going to play on the cap
Big
this
loss
year
for the
completely
Chiefs there
free.
with Josh Uche, right?
Steve, we talked about that a little bit last night. You know he's going to go there and have double-digit sacks.
I'm sure he will. He fits in that defense way better than here. Let's talk about DeAndre Hopkins, Mike. You were talking about him signing with the Ravens. 1 year, $5 million, up to $6 million. That's chump change for DeAndre Hopkins. The Chiefs definitely could have paid him that, but obviously they chose to move on from him. They weren't using him. We talked about that earlier. I touched on that for a second. What do you think?
I'm with you. I don't think the Chiefs wanted to offer DeAndre Hopkins. A lot of people assume that he got offered $6 million and we just wouldn't match it because Brett Veach is cheap. I don't think that was the thing. I just don't think we wanted to offer DeAndre Hopkins. I don't think we give him an initial offer. I think Brett Veach told him to go out and find a contract. And I don't know how low it would have had to be. I mean, it could have been $2 million and Brett Veach may not have even touched it. I just do not think that DeAndre Hopkins was explosive enough for what the Chiefs want to do. Again, he's a bigger body wide receiver that this late in his career and even all throughout his career, you have to throw a lot of 50-50 balls. You have to throw to tight spaces. Mahomes will not do that. He refuses.
Yeah.
Our offense does not allow for that. I just think they wanted to move on from D-Hop. I don't think they got what they wanted from D-Hop. And I don't know if it's D-Hop's problem or just the fact that it's tough for big-bodied wide receivers to fit and do well in this offense.
That's exactly what it is. They're just never going to use them the way that those guys need to be used.
And that leads you to believe, Steve, if they couldn't figure out a way to use D-Hop effectively and they did not want to use a future Hall of Famer, guys like Justin Ross and everybody else, that is the biggest pipe dream you've ever seen. Trying to act like those guys are going to contribute. And I think that rolls out big body wide receivers in the draft to a certain degree.
Right. I think at some point you just have to come to the realization that that's just not going to happen. Like they're not going to use those type of guys. They don't fit into the offense well. And at that point you just sign them. Just go ahead, draft and sign all the slot receivers you want. If that's what you're going to use, let's not waste our time or our hopes and dreams on anything else, right? I mean, that's just all there is to it. So I mean, that's really all there is to the whole G Hop thing. I think he went to the Ravens looking for a Super Bowl run because they're a competitive team. And I don't know if he's going to have any success there. That's where, wide receivers go to die in Baltimore. They also go to Tennessee to die, and he's already hit 2 of those 3. So
Yeah.
maybe it's time for him to just retire after this year. We'll see.
Right.
We'll see what happens.
I see Steve Ledbetter in the chat, Steve. He said you have a nice hoodie. He likes the hoodie.
you.
And he also
Appreciate
said we need that defensive tackle from Kentucky, Deion Walker or Nolan from Ole Miss. Those are both 2 big body guys. I think right now Nolan's probably projected at first, early second. I'd say Deion Walker's probably slipped second round, third round, maybe even top of the 4th. It just kind of depends. But 2 very different kind of defensive tackles or defensive linemen, might I say. The Chiefs do tend, Steve, though, it feels like lately they've been going with like the big guy, the big 3-4 looking dude, like the Keandre Coburn or whoever else. They take that big beefy boy in the middle, kind of like they do with Derek Nottie. Why do they keep going over that rather than to try to go for somebody kind of like a Turk? And then you see that Turk's the one that kind of developed and got out of here, right? Derek Nottie's been mid, and Coburn gets cut from 15 different teams. So
I think it's the design of the defensive scheme. I think, it's kind of like with the edge rushers, how people like Uche is never going to work. Like, you're going to have like the bigger guy on the edge that can set the edge and stuff like that. I think it's just how it is. Like they have Chris Jones that can put pressure on from the middle. He can also slide out to the edge and put pressure. I don't think they're worried about the pressure. I think they want a big fat body down there to stuff the run and do what they want to do.
Paired with Chris Jones, or even when Chris Jones had to come off the field, Turk was effective, and Turk looked really good.
Now, I'm not saying that it wasn't a good idea. Or that
I'm just saying Turk had the body style. And I want to say we drafted Binky, too. Binky was a little bigger, but Binky was very athletic for his size.
Yeah,
like, that was what he did offer. Colin Saunders had a lot of athleticism. I remember when he out, he could
put
do
some pressure on every now and then, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. And then when they started going to, like, the Derek Nottie, the big 3-4 looking guy, and then they drafted Colburn, those guys have not panned out. The only one that kind of done well, and we didn't even draft him, was Mike Pennell. And then you've seen this year, Mike Pennell kind of fell off because he's a little older, but he's been the only successful big-bodied run stopper. So why do they keep doing that? Like, I'm not understanding the fascination with that body style and that play type when it's just not working out. Right. And you see, like, the Turks or the Colin Saunders or, you know what I mean? Like, those are the guys that have worked out and been successful here over the last few years.
Right.
It's just odd,
baby. Scroll on.
Let's move it on. Okay, so on 3/12, which was 2 days ago, the Chiefs created a lot of cap space with Mahomes and Chris Jones. That was cool. We all seen that one coming a mile away. They just had to wait for the new season to begin.
They had to get all these guys paid that they signed.
Right. Then they tendered Jack Cochran, Najee Johnson, special teams, depth pieces, blah, blah, blah. Now, look, the tender was over $3 million this year. I thought that was wild to pay Jack Cochran and Najee Johnson almost $7 million total. Yeah. That was wild to me. And then that night, Brett Veach does it again. He pulls out Malik Herring on another 1 year. And I get that Malik Herring is depth, but you couldn't have found any other depth out there with a little more upside than Malik Herring. It just feels odd that it's almost like we just have these like comfortable guys and they're just going to stick with it. Like, is Malik Herring going to get 1 year till his career's over here?
Yeah, I mean, Malik Herring, he kind of fits that mold I was talking about earlier. He's just a big body. He can set the edge well. He does good against runs. And I think that's literally all he really offers you. And I mean, you saw, I think it was not this season, but last season, he had a couple of decent plays in the playoffs against the Ravens in the AFC Championship game. He can do something here and there, but I mean, it's nothing groundbreaking. So I think it was just one of those pay this guy because we have to have him on the roster sort of thing.
Right. So just to interrupt right here. Elijah Mitchell's contract details have come out. So let me bring that in on the screen because I know it's going to be a lot of figures. So let me bring it in and I'll let you guys look at it when I'm talking about it. But Steve, this contract is I'll let you be the judge of the contract here. It's fine. I mean, we discussed earlier it was $3.5 million total, I believe.
Well, while you're bringing it in, we got a two bomb from KC Line Squad. He points out that the big wide receivers are for practice to mimic opponents' wide receivers. You think that's surely to God they haven't been just limiting Justin Ross's entire career because they're using him as a practice guy? I mean, I'm not saying you're wrong, but man,
seems very seems plausible.
Yeah, that's rough.
Seems
that's
plausible.
Rough.
So here we go. Aaron Wilson reports the Chiefs' Elijah Mitchell deal. 1 year, $2.5 million. He got a $250K signing bonus.
A
salary, $1.4 million. He gets $1.1 guaranteed. $44,000 per game active roster bonus. $1 million for touchdowns, playtime, rushing yards, incentives. $100K workout bonus. When we were talking about signing a guy such as, like, say, Cup or somebody like that, and everybody says we can't afford to pay, but they say we can't afford to pay. Those are the kind of contracts that you can maybe throw out. Now, look, I get it. There's a big difference between Cooper Kupp and Elijah Mitchell. Like, Elijah Mitchell really probably had not many options, and Kupp's going to get everything thrown at him. But you still see a lot of deals like that, though, where, like, if you're worried about, for example, if you're worried about somebody's health, and you're like, I don't want to give him a lot of money, you can always throw it in. Like, look, if you play a certain amount of games, you make bonuses for every time you're thing. If you're worried about his production may slip because he's not on the field, some of it can be, receptions, yards, whatever it is. These contracts are nice, and they've now started throwing in void years. They've got all kinds of stuff, man. That's what I'm saying. A lot of people see these contracts as so cut and dry, but what you got to understand is all this stuff you could feasibly offer. And I even think we did that with Hollywood last year or something. His contract basically come out to be like, what, $7 million, but it had it upwards of like 8 or something like that, or I don't remember what it was. But I think that sometimes people get lost in that. Like even Kareem Hunt, you could bring him back for feasibly like 1.5, and if he don't make the team, that's just nothing to lose. And if he actually makes the team because whoever you draft doesn't work out, Elijah Mitchell gets injured, whatever,
Kareem Hunt would make the team.
You can still put some incentive bonuses there. Like, hey, Kareem, if you get, 100 carries this year, you make an extra 100K. If you get, 750 rushing yards. So I think people forget that contracts are so fluid. Like, they're like breathing documents that they can, like, literally mess with it all. They mess with them all the time, right?
Right. And I don't think the Elijah Mitchell signing was bad by any means. I think it's just, like I said earlier.
I like the way he set up the contract.
Yeah, Brett Veach always does stuff like this.
If you were worried about his health, then that $44K per game active roster bonus helps, right? Yeah. Because if that's a big chunk if he can't stay healthy. And then, of course, $1 million for a touchdown playtime rushing yard incentive. If you can't be on the field, then you're not going to get those playtime incentives. So,
right. And then we're going to give you $100,000 to work out, baby. Go work out. Stay healthy. That's what they're saying.
Yeah. They'll get that.
Yeah, for sure. Appreciate you guys being here, by the way. If you're just rolling in, we're talking about if the Chiefs have got better during the free agency period. And we got a lot more to talk about. We're going to talk about Cooper Kupp. Mike, how's that? You trying to get that drink cold, baby? You jiggling the ice? I like the blank stare on your face. We're going to talk about Cooper Kupp. We're also going to get to the Kareem Hunt stuff. Got a lot to talk about with that and much, much more. Do us a favor. Hit the like button for us if you haven't already. And we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. Hang with us. And we're going to talk more Chiefs football, baby. Let's go.
Oh, yeah. Right off the rip. I'm getting that leather and tobacco vibe and that bourbon vanilla. This stuff right here, straight fire, baby. You work hard, you play hard, and we know Chiefs Kingdom cheers hard. And when you do that, it's obvious you work up a little stank. I mean, come on. We're stinky humans who survive on barbecue and Patrick Mahomes highlights. But you don't always want to be at musty level 10. We don't. We're trying to smell nice. And for us, it's this right here, Mando, baby. You wake up, you shower, you start your day, but eventually you start to get a little, ripe. You catch a whiff and you just pray nobody else is offended by your stank bubble. You don't have to walk around smelling like Bigfoot's Grab yourself some Mando full body deodorant or some Mando whole body deodorant spray. They even have whole body deodorant cream. You have no reason to stink. We absolutely love Mando, and that's why we partnered with them to bring their goodness to you. Look, we're super big into fragrances and colognes, and this stuff smells fantastic. This is bourbon leather, and it smells incredible. There's so many reasons to love it. It's safe to use for your pits, to your balls, to your big old disgusting filthy feet. It was created by an actual doctor who wanted to stop the misdiagnosis and mistreatment of odors. Mando is clinically proven to block odor all day and control odor for up to 72 hours. And no, that doesn't mean you can be a degenerate piece of and not shower for real. It helps with odor. It doesn't perform miracles. There's 4 scents. This bourbon leather here is fantastic. They also have Clover Woods, Mount Fuji, and Pro Sport scent. Some sick individual actually ran a test where they sniffed several people's grundles 12 hours post-shower and documented the stink levels. The average odor was a 5 out of 10 just 12 hours after your shower. With Mando, those same sick perverts that sniffed them taints were now a 0 of 10 level stank. Let's go. So do you want to try America's #1 whole body deodorant formula? Of course you do. You can find them at Walmart, Target, and other retailers across the country. But for the best deals, go to shopmando.com. You can pick up a Mando starter pack. It's absolutely perfect for new customers. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice like a mini body wash or deodorant wipes, and you get free shipping. Free shipping is huge. I've been known not to order $100 worth of stuff because I didn't want to pay $10 for shipping. But this is what I want to offer to the ACU crew because you guys are special. New customers get $5 off a starter pack with our exclusive code. That equates to over 40% of your starter pack when using our code ACU to shopmando.com. That's SHOPMANDO.com. Please support our show and tell them we sent you. And if you don't love it, they'll give you a full refund up to 60 days later. That's how confident Mando is that your balls won't stink. Go to shopmando.com and use code ACU to get 40% and free shipping off your Mando starter pack. Smell fresher, stay drier, and boost your confidence head to toe with Mando. Thanks for Mando for sponsoring this video. We got some Mando action quite literally for that ass. Get it up in there. Those butt cheeks, baby.
Let's go, baby. Shout out Mando for sponsoring your boys for the off season. Make sure to get down in the description and go check them out. And make sure to let them know All Chiefed Up sent you. Mike, let's talk about Mr. Cooper Kupp, baby. It's on the minds of a lot of Chiefs fans and a lot of football fans worldwide. So apparently he's asking too much. People's like, hey, we're not paying you $12 or $13 million a year. Not happening, Kupp. So you're going to have to reevaluate. What do you think? You think anybody's going to actually pull out the old pocketbook and pay Cooper Kupp that much money at the end of his career, a little injury prone? You think they'll do it?
But not the Chiefs. Look, I don't think the Chiefs are in. Yesterday I posted to Cooper Kupp and I said, look, Cooper Kupp, if you're considering the Chiefs, go ahead and like this. And if you ignore it, then I know that you're not considering the Chiefs. And he ignored it, Steve. So he's out with the Chiefs.
He read it and he was like, yeah.
Seattle's going to offer him a little bit. And look, he's from Washington area. His wife's from the Washington area. Seattle makes perfect sense. He can now go back and smack the Rams 2 times a year. Okay. They're going to offer him money. The Patriots probably will open the bag for him. Dallas probably is wanting in on him. You never know. Pittsburgh could try it again if they think that they're going to lure over a quarterback or whatever.
Pittsburgh's trying to throw together a super team this year. They're trying their hardest.
Right. They're doing their best because I think the fans have come down on Tomlin so much that they know Tomlin has to win this year.
Imagine being that stupid.
Wow. But anyway, no, he will get paid something big, and it's more than what the Chiefs are going to offer. And again, I would have put together some kind of not a prove it deal, but if I were going to sign Cooper Kupp or even offer him, he has to have the same kind of incentive bonuses that Elijah Mitchell's contract would have had. Like, you'd have had to get a per game bonus and a production bonus, and he probably wouldn't have signed that, which is fine. But that's cool. I would go into that being like, here's the contract, take it or leave it. But I'm at least going to offer something and see if he takes it, because you may want to win with the Chiefs more than you want to take big money. Now, I know that's saying a lot these days. I don't think any player wants to win more than they want more money.
And Kupp's already got a ring. So I mean,
I get it. He's got a ring, but You just want one ring and quit? I don't know anybody that just wants one ring and they're out. I think at the end of their career, you kind of want to build onto your legacy, right?
Right, but you could also be that guy that's like, well, I've been there. I've done that.
Yeah, he could be. I don't think Cooper Kupp is that. And I don't really think Cooper Kupp's going to go out and try to find the most money possible.
I think Cooper Kupp has some gas left in the tank, too. If he could stay on the field, I think he's got more than
it's
he's
a
had
little
to
bit.
offer.
It is dwindling.
The last few years, though, last 2 years in particular, I think that he's seen a downtick in production just because they have Puka Nacua, and they've been kind of using him more than Cooper Kupp, especially because when Kupp was injured, they literally...
How deadly would it have been if Cooper Kupp, just say, for example, if Tom Brady were still playing and Cooper Kupp this late in his career come in and took like a Wes Welker role?
Well, yeah, but that's not a possibility.
That would have been wild, huh? This
Anyway,
may get Tom Brady out of retirement.
Cooper Kupp's a security blanket for somebody, and Patrick Mahomes definitely could use one. Chad Ochocinco even posted at Chiefs, if you need a security blanket, here it is, and he had retweeted out Cooper Kupp. I don't know. I think it's something that Brett Veach is considering. I also think it's something they're not going to overspend on. So like you said, it'd kind of be one of those things where he'd have to decide, I want to play for the Chiefs.
Yeah, and he's not going to do that. People are throwing him the bag, so he's going to get it offered somewhere. I bet you he gets offered 12 to 15 million per year. I think that's what it's going to end up
It'll be something weird. There were reports that he wants to stay on the West Coast, like you said, so he could look at Seattle, something like that. I mean, the only other teams really over there on the West Coast are going to be the Chargers and the 49ers, so we'll see. I'm sure someone weird will come out of the woodwork and pay him more than he's worth. More than likely, that's what we're going to see. But it's a nice thought, right, to have Cooper Kupp in our wide receiver room, just for the sheer fact of having some experience, having a veteran in there, and somebody that literally he could still get open. Cooper Kupp's also a smart player. He can beat his own. He can do a lot of different things that could really help Patrick Mahomes kind of use him as a security blanket, if you will. But yeah. I don't know. I think that's what we're looking at with Cooper Kupp. So
yeah, he's not coming here.
Wouldn't get too horned up about it, ladies and gentlemen. Wouldn't get too horned up about it.
Yeah, he's not coming here. It's just the market's a little too high for him. Like you kind of thought that maybe, the way everybody tells it out there is that he's washed, he's no good, he can't get open, he can't do this, can't do that. But amazingly, lots of teams throwing out big money. So it is what it is.
Absolutely. Shout out Tom Flex for becoming a member, baby. Welcome to the crew. Appreciate you, my man. You all welcome him in the chat. Also, Mike, let's move it on to Kareem Hunt. Our boy asked with the super chat earlier about Kareem Hunt. I think it was Mandalorian, the Chief DeLorean. Sorry. I think that's who it was. But either way, Mike, we've been advocates of re-signing Kareem Hunt. I think it's a no-brainer. Like, to me, you get a little bit of stability from Kareem Hunt. I know he's had his fair share of injuries through his career, but nothing crazy. And he also fits into the offense well. He's familiar with the offense. He was productive last year. He's a veteran. He's only 29. He's not super old. I think it's a no-brainer to re-sign Kareem Hunt. You're going to get him for cheap. And I don't know why there's so much hate for Kareem Hunt and Chiefs Kingdom all of a sudden. Last year, their boners were so hard they about passed out from lack of blood flow to the freaking brain when we got Kareem Hunt back. And now they flipped to, he's too old, he sucks, and we don't want him, which is wild. Completely wild. So what do you think the deal is here? You think Brett Veach is definitely going to bring him back into this running back room, and he just has time to think about that or work on other things because Kareem Hunt's not like a hot commodity on the open market? Like, what do you think the deal is?
Well, I think somebody's going to sign Kareem Hunt. I don't know if it'll be the Chiefs. We're dragging our feet on it. And I do still believe you can sign Kareem Hunt to this room and you can still draft one. I don't think that those two things are mutually inexclusive. Like, you don't have to pick one or the other.
Right.
Because typically you want 4 running backs on your team, and Carson still could possibly still be moved to like that fullback hybrid position, or you never know if a rookie's going to be able to contribute. You never know if Elijah Mitchell's going to be healthy. You don't know if Pacheco's going to be healthy these days. So
right.
I don't think you can ever have too much depth at running back. And that would be a good problem to have if you did magically get so healthy and good at the running back position that you had to just cut Kareem Hunt. Right?
I don't think that's
insane, but I
thing.
don't even think that would happen.
I don't. I think he just fits into the offense very well. We've seen that since he got drafted.
Right. Well, I talked about this last night on the live. for everybody to come into the members only, but I posted it on X a few days ago, Steve. What do you think about the people saying that he's just too old? He's 29. He's too old. He's got like 1,300 carries in his career. But James Cook has already hit 50% of that, and he's only played for 3 years of Kareem Hunt's 8-year career. And then Josh Jacobs has played only 6 years compared to Kareem Hunt's 8, and he has over 400 more snaps at the running back with attempts. And people were wanting Josh Jacobs. You remember that last year? There was a big Josh Jacobs outcry. Like, we should have went and got him. So I don't understand it, because if you want wear and tear, it's not about how old you are. It's about the wear and tear on the body of a running back.
Yeah.
And Kareem Hunt had flashes of he showed some pop and some burst at certain times this year, and I don't think it was bad, and I don't think Kareem Hunt fell off. It's not even
about that.
I think Andy Reid fell off of running the ball.
It's not even about that. Like, that's the thing. Like, a lot of people want an explosive running back. I'm all for that. Let's get a younger guy in here, somebody that's more explosive.
Well, that's what Pacheco offers, doesn't it?
I'm good with it, but at the same time, it's like Kareem Hunt offers you a lot more than that. It's the field vision. It's the, just the experience overall. He's just a smart football player, and I think that's definitely – like, how many times have we have short yardage this year and you just give the ball to Kareem Hunt and he's going to find the yardage? I mean, we saw that over and over again. It's better than running into the back of your offensive line like Isaiah Pacheco tends to do sometimes. I just think it's a smart football player, and it's a smart thing to have him on the roster, and they can definitely still go look for someone else if they want to.
Yeah.
I think they're kind of looking for that explosiveness with Elijah Mitchell and hoping that pans out. But
like I said, Pacheco's the explosive type back. Pacheco and Elijah Mitchell are now explosive. So if you need that tough, gritty yardage, where are you going to? You just going to go to Carson Steele?
Yeah, man. But
because a lot of people wasn't sold on him either.
The hate for Kareem Hunt and Chiefs Keenum on X, it's mainly just those same dorky talking heads that we've talked about that always want to sound smart. And they're like elitist. They're just pricks to everybody. I can't stand some of those guys, and I don't know why they're all hating on Kareem Hunt now. But like, that's the cool thing to do. Like, they sent a text out to each other, and they're like, today we're going to hate Kareem Hunt. Okay?
We talk trash about Kareem
He's not
Hunt.
Cool enough for us, so we will not
kick him out.
Kareem
Kick him
Hunt.
out of the lunch table, Steve.
Yeah, that's what happened, I think. Flapjack with a 2-bomb says, you said boner. Seth Kaiser just had a concussion. Yeah, he's probably like, those degenerates. Those degenerates.
How dare it.
Yeah.
We don't always do whatever, but, I think that's rude. I think that's a bad thing.
It's rude. See, Pops thinks it's rude, too. He says, tell us how you really feel, fat boy. See?
Yeah. Yeah, Fats. What's up?
Old man. You're supposed to be working.
Pops ain't working. He's probably at, Pops has probably took a 2-hour lunch break. He's probably over at Five Guys having a giant hamburger.
Nice lunch. No doubt about it. Probably just looking at Chief stuff. Probably.
Pops, one of these days, I don't know when you take lunch break, but one of these days, I'm just going to drive down and we'll have Five Guys. We'll have some lunch together one day. I'll have lunch with Pops on lunch break. I want to meet the guy he works with that he calls
Jersey
Beavis.
Mike's. What?
He said somebody he works with looks just like Beavis from Beavis and Butthead. And so I got to see who this guy is.
Got to see it. Yeah, Mike. But okay, so we talked about all the different moves. We talked about the guys the Chiefs lost. We talked about the guys that the Chiefs have signed. Overall, do you think that they have got better?
Nikki, I like Tucker Carlson way more than Tucker
Me too.
Franklin.
Me too, baby. Let's go.
I would rather Tucker Carlson be in my ear talking stupid stuff for my entire existence.
Good grief. We'll have him as a staple on the show.
I bet Tucker Carlson knows more about the Chiefs.
He probably does.
He'd probably come on here and tell you.
You could give him 24 hours to research it, and he would have better opinions.
He'd write an entire book and make a new TV show over it. That's hilarious.
Flapjack says, man, y'all going to make me go on a diet. I need to go on a diet, Flapjack.
Yeah.
I need to lose some pounds.
Steve, I'm getting ready to go on a diet. I'm about to go have a Mexican buffet.
Ooh, that'll be good for the diet.
That's a diet. I mean, it is. I don't typically eat a lot of carbs, minus the chips that come with the salsa. Just limit it a little bit,
Let's go, baby. Let's freaking go. Well, what do you think? Do you think the Chiefs have got better? Or do you think they've gotten a little worse? What do you think? Because they have lost some pieces.
At the end of it, we did not get worse, I do not think. I think retaining the big pieces, I think taking a shot at a promising left tackle. I won't say that he's going to be a hit, but I'm going to give him a fair shot. I think Elijah Moore's a take it or leave it kind of guy. He's going to have to prove that he can stay healthy. And I like the Christian Fulton signing, and I think that's the big ones. And now that you've signed Gardner Minshew and Bailey Zappi, you just set it over the edge. And I think that Brett Veach he's got a solid B plus to an A minus working here in free agency. And I think the draft can help it or hurt it. And the Chiefs typically draft pretty decently and pretty solidly. But we said going into the draft, the Chiefs are not going to have any weaknesses. But as it looks right now, we do have some weaknesses, Steve, and it's across the defensive line.
Yeah.
So,
well, this is a deep defensive line
covered?
Draft, I think. I think there's a lot of good defensive
It's big
tackles in
time.
this draft.
But it is a weakness, and you don't typically want that.
One of the guys mentioned, the kid from Kentucky. I think he's one that you could get probably day 2.
Deion Walker.
Yeah, I like him. I mean, there's a lot of good ones out there. So I mean, I don't know. What do you think?
I think there's some pass rushers out there I'd really like to get my hands on.
I think that's definitely the focal point. I mean, if you're talking about a weakness, is that where you would go to, straight to the defensive line? Is that the most glaring weakness in your opinion?
100%. I think the defensive line, if you can get that more solid, it's going to free up and take bodies off some linebackers. They get to roam more freely. I think that helps the corners and coverage. It helps the young guys that's now going to be at the safety position. I think it helps across the board. You've got to continue to get after the passer. You've got to continue to do things like that. And so I don't think you'll get your hands on him, but a guy like Shamar Stewart out of A&M, that kid can flat out play. There's some good guys like Jack Sawyer. If you watch Jack Sawyer from Ohio State, he literally just looks like a more athletic George Karlaftis. Like, he's that guy. But I've been watching I watched film on one guy last night. I think Ashton Gilotti, I think is how you pronounce it, from U of L. He kind of has that George Karlaftis vibe too, where like he's solid, but he's not going to kill you with athleticism, and quarterbacks are going to outrun you sometimes. I don't know if we need that, but that is the kind of like high molder that Spags and them tend to love. But dude, there is a dude I watched last night from Oregon named Jordan Birch. And he is a freak of nature. Like, I did not think I would like him like I did, and I absolutely loved him. He was like 6'4", 290. He's a perfect Spags body. He had played defensive tackle before. He lost a little bit of weight, filled his body out, moved out to the edge. So he can rush the passer. He can come from the inside or outside. He is super athletic. He made Bill Feldman's freak list. So he's literally like a freak of nature as a 290-pound, 6'4" defensive end. This kid is awesome, and he is being overlooked across the board. Like, as it looks right now, people are projecting him like round 3, round 4, round 5. I honestly think this kid at the end of round 2 could be a steal when it's all said and done. Like, that is a guy I want everybody to go watch. We may even break it down at the risk of YouTube trying to kick our channel off.
Yeah, why not? We got the 2 Kenyadian from William Usher. He says, to be fair, I don't know if I've ever seen a Lance opinion I've agreed with. Hey, and that is fair, you know?
I don't know.
I don't agree.
Is it fair to say that Kareem Hunt was this one that got all the spark? He said he liked Kareem Hunt as a running back better than he liked Pacheco or Elijah Mitchell. I don't think that's a wild.
No, and that's the thing. It doesn't matter if you agree with his opinions. I wasn't telling you have to agree with his opinions, but he gets to have one. And I don't think that, people should try to get the pitchfork crowd out just to make themselves feel better.
It was an attempt at a public shaming to get everybody to turn on somebody. And we've seen it just the other day. Carrington Harrison tried to pull it on us the other day.
It's just a good interaction. It makes them feel better about their miserable lives. That's all it is. I appreciate that, though, William. Thanks for the support, my man. But yeah, man, overall, I think the Chiefs have, I want to say they've got better. And it's tough to say because they lost, when you lose someone like Turk Wharton or Justin Reed, those are big pieces on the defense, so it's hard to say they've just got better. But I think that Brett Veach has definitely put themselves into position to draft for best player available. And I think that they've put more of an upside at the left tackle position, which was key, especially since there was nothing huge they could do. And that's pretty much it, man. I think they're in a good position. So I think they have got better if you want to look at it through that lens. And y'all let us know what you think in the chat. And we'll see what you guys have to say about it. Mike always falls asleep about this time of the live stream, if anybody's never noticed.
Sorry, I'm trying to catch up on chat. Like, I haven't got to look at chat for like 10 minutes.
Just completely checks out on you the last 5 minutes of every one of them.
You didn't ask me a question. You just stopped talking, and I'm reading over here. I don't know what you want me to do.
He's like reading a book, sipping a cup of coffee.
No, I just seen where everybody in the chat started talking about Clerks, and I love Clerks. Clerks was a great movie. Kevin
Smith.
Dude, that was a great movie.
I didn't even know they had a 3. When did they do that?
I remember Clerks. I remember Clerks 2.
Hey, Cheever says Caliendo or Kingsley at left guard. What do you think they're going to do with that, Mike? Because a lot of people think Kingsley's just like, that's obviously what it is. Like, Kingsley's going to be the left guard now. But Caliendo seems to be the one the Chiefs always go to.
Yeah, it's best man wins. It really is. It could be Wanye in there. It could be Norzad in there. It could be C.J. Hansen comes out of nowhere. I don't know. But I think that's there. I'm not so sure the Chiefs might go out and sign DJ Humphries now that I think about it. I really do think that Ethan Driscoll might be the backup plan.
Do you really?
They really like Ethan Driscoll. I think he does offer a lot. He's got a big body. He moves well. I think he's got a lot of upside. I really do. I think they could draft one still, but Driscoll might be the plan there. I mean, they're not in any hurry to sign DJ Humphries. And again, I don't think DJ Humphries is like people's knocking down the proverbial door to sign him, but
I think for what they could,
I do think they like Ethan Driscoll.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think they do too. As far as this goes, though, Chiefer, I think honestly, I think Kingsley would have to earn that spot because I think if they just gave it to somebody, like right now, they would just keep Mike Caliendo there. I mean, they were willing to use him at left guard through the end of the season, all through the playoffs. So, and I know that's because they had to move Joe Tooney, but guess what? There's no Joe Tooney now, so they're probably leaning that way. We'll see if one of those other guys can take that position. I think long term, it definitely could be Kingsley's spot or Wanye or whoever. Didn't work out wherever else they needed him. And like you said, Mike, they had Norzad and Hansen, all those kids.
Yeah, they got plenty of depth there. And, I mean, honestly, they could draft another one. You never know. A lot of these tackles they draft can always just be swing linemen across the board because a lot of them don't have those big 34-inch arms. So you can kick down. Driscoll would have a little bit of trouble kicking down into a guard position, in my opinion, because he's so tall. He's like 6'7", 6'8". But it can be done. Mekhi Becton looked pretty good doing that with the Eagles this year. Of course, he's a bigger, wider body frame.
Yeah. Did anybody sign him?
I think he's still out there last time I checked, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, I like how the Eagles, they got him and they moved him and they're like, look, we're going to make you better.
He actually played really well as a guard last year.
And then they're like, see you, buddy.
His numbers were up, like, across the board. He played really well at guard. He really did. So, I think, yeah. But I don't think guard is a huge need for us. I know we lost Tooney, but I just think we've got too many pieces sitting there and we've drafted for it. I think that's what Norzad and C.J. Hansen basically were last year.
Yeah, for sure. Well, appreciate you guys being here. Thanks for coming in. Thanks for talking Chiefs football. Thanks for listening to us rant, all that good stuff. Shout out Mando for sponsoring today's live stream. Y'all go check them out in the pinned comment or down in the description. Make sure to let them know All Chiefed Up sent you. And we'll be back later this week, well, this weekend maybe, with some content and talk some more Chiefs football. We're going to dive into the running backs, probably have a video out or a live stream talking about our top 10 running backs. We're going to get in on this draft stuff, man. It's about that time, Mike. Free agency's kind of slowing down already.
Right. I think when it comes to draft stuff, Steve, the offensive side, we're probably just going to do running back, wide receiver, and maybe tackle. I don't think there's anything else worth touching. Maybe tight end.
Yeah.
Steve, somebody asked me that last night. Do you think the Chiefs are going to draft a tight end because Kelsey's getting older? Do you think that they're set with Noah Gray and Jared Wiley?
Out of the realm of possibility. I think, like I've said a million times, if they get to their pick, they're on the clock, and the person at the top of their board is a tight end, they'll take him.
Right, but I don't think they go in specifically needing to take a tight end.
No, I don't think Brett Veach ever goes in specifically looking for any kind of position. So
with that being said, I think if that's the case, I think they dropped the ball when they could have grabbed like a Sam Porter a few years ago or something, in my opinion.
Right.
Like,
yeah,
I felt like that was where you could have grabbed a tight end, because
that's
Kelsey's been kind of slipping for the last, 2 years. I mean, I don't want to slipping, but you can tell he's getting older. He's getting to the end of his career. That's when you start to go get, the replacement, right? Let him learn.
Right. And once again, I think that was just a product of them not looking for a specific position, and they thought someone else on the board was better.
Yeah.
I mean,
I just
all
think
there
they
is
like
to it.
Jared Wiley. I don't think they grabbed Jared Wiley because he's like the heir apparent. I think he was just the best, most athletic guy on their board. They took him.
Yeah,
They
I think
needed him.
Yeah.
But that injury could set back Jared Wiley. But maybe not. Travis Kelce went through a bad knee
see.
injury early in his career, and he turned out to be one of the best ever to play.
Could finally be Noah Gray season. Could
be, man.
We'll see. Appreciate you guys. Hit that like button on the way out if you haven't already, and we'll see you next time. Go Chiefs.
Go Chiefs.
Heaven was a sight from my soul.